This is so exciting to me. Oh, all right. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, I've got the Instagram on, I've got the Facebook set, I've got all the stuff. I am very, very excited. And so, okay, this is a post-workout, no shower day, and it is what it is. In fact, my hat is crooked. Yeah. I'm still processing this piece of information. So on Saturday, Dylan left to go back to college. My youngest son, my older son had graduated college before, so my younger son left to go back to college. And it's really strange because he's not here. He was here. So he had, because of COVID, in the spring semester of his sophomore year, they had a delayed start to the semester, so he was here longer after he had been, home for all of that. So they had, in the spring semester of his freshman year, they had cut short, and he had finished that here at home. He had been here for fall semester of his sophomore year, and then for spring semester of his sophomore year, they did like a shortened semester. So he went up late, and then he came back early and finished here again, and then he was here for the summer. And then, and so this would be his first real semester there since his freshman year, first semester. So it's very exciting to have him, take off and go back to school. And he's 20 now. It's not, he's not right out of high school. He's very independent. But I'm still in the place of like, my cub left. So this morning after my run, I went, I was in his room and I was just cleaning out all his stuff. Not cleaning out, but, kind of putting it together because my cousins are coming in a couple weeks, and so I wanted to be able to get the room clean. So kind of straightening up and taking all the trash out and stuff of there. So just a sweaty day because cleaning out anything in Florida is a sweaty day. So I want to extend huge prayers to the people in New Orleans and Louisiana, all of Louisiana, as this storm. We here in Florida, we are very storm sympathetic. I know folks in Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama and Texas also, and so we're just continuing to send a lot of light and healing energy to the folks who are dealing with Ida, because that is a real monster storm. And I know we had that, here a few years ago with Hurricane, what the hell was her name? That everybody thought was going to be the end of the world. Rita or something, I don't remember. Obviously it was not the end of the world, so that's good. So I want to share something with you yesterday, that happened to me yesterday, because it really has been continuing to bounce around in my head. And when I stop and I say to to Spirit and to my guides, and I say, what would you have me share with you? What would you have me share with them today? And I really kept hearing this that was rattling around in my head, and the words go things like, but that's not my job, but that is my job, and not understanding like where our boundaries and things are. So I want to share with you this thing that happened yesterday. So hi, Becca. So I want to share with you this thing that happened because many of you know that I do work with the Manatees. I work with Save the Manatees and a couple other organizations, and I teach people about the Manatees. I teach kids. I do school presentations, and I also do manatee protection. So I am what is called a manatee observer. I go out into the water at one of our state parks where we have manatees on a very, very regular basis, even though this is summer and people say, well, we don't have manatees in summer. That's not really true. We have manatees all the time in Florida. We say to people, people always ask about alligators. I'm like, if there's water in Florida, there's an alligator in it, or there's the potential for an alligator to be in it. And that's really the same with the manatees. If there is water, because manatees live in all kinds of water, fresh, salt, river, springs, whatever. If there's water, there is the potential for a manatee to be in it. So at our state park where I work, we get manatees every day. So literally yesterday on my shift, we had 4 manatees, 4 totally different manatees that just randomly came in from the river to get away from the alligators, to get away from the boats, to get into the cooler water. Manatees don't like cold water, but right now the river's very warm because it's summer. And just to, say hi, check it out, see what's going on. And so we literally had 4 different manatees. And as this one manatee came through, because they weren't all together, so the manatee comes into the water, and they come into the area where the swimmers are. And so our job is to alert the swimmers to the fact that there's a manatee in the water, and to teach people about the manatees, not just about the animal, but about what's legal, because manatees are kind of curious. They may literally swim right up to people. One of the manatees actually swam right up behind a swimmer and came right up underneath his skimboard as he was floating along. And I told the kid, I said, just stay right where you're at, keep your feet, be flat in the water. And the manatee literally went right underneath him. Now, if you didn't know there was a manatee in the water and it came right underneath of you like that, it might be a little startling. And so, we teach people about all kinds of things about the manatees. We answer tons of questions about the manatees. That's partly what we're there for, is to teach people about the manatees. We're also there to protect the manatees because manatees are cute. They're cute. People want to hug them and touch them, and they're very, very friendly. They're kind of like a big dog. And if a manatee came up to you and was sniffing at you and nuzzling at you, you would want to hug it. I would want to hug it. That is illegal. So we really want to deter people from hugging manatees and all this. So the manatee goes through the swimming area, and the spring is a dead end, and so then the manatee turns around and comes out and he leaves. And this gentleman who is, I don't know if he was a native to Florida, but he was definitely someone who'd lived in Florida all his life, as he told me. And what he said was, you could just let the manatee swim by and no one would even know it was there. And I thought, well, he has a point, except he's wrong. And I thought, but that's not my job. My job is actually to point out that there's a manatee in the water, that you should be able to see it and learn something from it. Learn something from this experience. I'm not there to, make people afraid of the manatee. I am there to help people see something that is right in front of them, because he's right. With the water, if you didn't know there was a manatee, it could swim right by you and you would never notice it and you would never learn anything. And I just kept coming back to this in my head, because isn't that what spirit does? I'm not saying I'm spirit, please don't misunderstand me, but isn't that what spirit does every single day? They point out things to us for us to see, so we won't miss it, so that we can learn from the experience. And I thought, this was just genius, because I kept rolling this conversation around and around in my head. And what I said to the gentleman was, I said, but that's not my job. My job is actually to point it out, so that people come to this park from all over the world, hoping to see a manatee in the wild, a live manatee, hoping to have the opportunity to see one swim by. And if you are one of those people, wouldn't you just be so crushed if the manatee swam out and then you're like, well, where's the manatee? I'm like, oh, it left. And you didn't get a chance to see it, and it was like right by you? I mean, I would feel terrible that, to deny somebody that experience. But it just kept coming back to me that this is what spirit does. Spirit is, tapping us, hello, 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 tapping us on the shoulder, helping us to see the things that are around us, so that we won't miss that experience, and that we'll be able to learn something from that experience. So I paddle around in my kayak, and I go in and out of the waterway. And every time, sometimes I'm just there doing a safety sweep, and people will say, "Is the manatee back?" And I'll say, "No," and they go, "Okay, well, we saw you, got excited." I said, "I know," and I was excited too. And so sometimes we want to just, that part of it was in my mind also, because sometimes it's important for us to be on the lookout for the experience. Be on the lookout for the experience. So the people see me in my kayak, it says Manatee Observer on it, and to see me coming, and they're like, "Oh, there must be something I've got to pay attention to. There's something important that is coming my way." "Oh, there's not something important? There's no manatee right now? Oh, okay. Well, I'll just carry on doing what I was doing." But I have been educated to know that when I see that lady in the kayak that says Manatee Observer, I better pay attention to that. I better pay attention to that. And I just thought, what a beautiful analogy. And here was this gentleman who clearly knew how to act around manatees, because he was in the water, he was acting exactly the right way, and watched the manatee go right by. And I thought, I understand where he's coming from to not disturb the animal, because we never, ever want to do that. But nothing that we're doing is doing that. In fact, everything that we do is so that the animal has more peace, not less. But we do create excitement in the water, as people get all excited because they want to see the animal. And to be able to say, "Look, here's a manatee, don't miss it." Because we constantly are like, "Don't miss it, here it comes, there's a manatee, it's coming, don't miss the manatee." So people will see it. And to have somebody say, "Why, you're just causing more chaos and you're causing more drama." I'm like, no, I didn't see it that way, because literally, and I kept thinking about it in my head, and I kept hearing it over and over. That's not my job. My job is not to be covert in protecting the manatee. My job is to be completely obvious in protecting the manatee, so people can have this experience and learn from it. And so I really loved this analogy, and they just kept putting it in my ear like an earworm. What is it? Who is in your world, in your space, in your ear, in your life, that is being like an earworm for you, trying to get your attention to see the thing that's coming by, that you might miss it if somebody didn't point it out to you? It's like when the car cuts you off in traffic and you have to slam on your brake, and you're like, "Arr!" And then you look to the side and you're like, "Oh my God, I totally would have missed that." Like my loved one's name on the side of a truck, or a bird sitting. When I pulled into the park yesterday, this guy had pulled in front of me, and he was in line in front of me, and he went in and he pulled up to the place where we can pull over and I can go into the ranger station and get my gear. And he pulled up and he was sort of half in a handicap spot and half not in a handicap spot, and I just thought, he's blocking up a handicap spot. Now, to be fair, the park was not even open at that point, so he wasn't really blocking up anything. But I was like, I had to go around him and pull in front of him. And literally, as I was pulling in front of him, where I parked, there was a red cardinal on the ground, on the street, like right there. And I was like, I got to pull my car in here. And I tried to, I didn't want to scare it. I certainly didn't want to run over it. And I pulled up really, slowly. And the cardinal just stood there. And it looked at me. And it looked at me. And I just thought, oh my gosh, because I know my twin sends red cardinals to me all the time. And so I knew, I'm like, ah, that's so awesome. And I was, took a minute to receive that message. But had that guy not parked right, in the middle of the handicap spot, I would have had to park in a different spot. I would have parked in a different spot, and I would have missed the bird. So they are always trying to get our attention. They're always trying to show us things, because that's their job, is to point it out to us. They are not trying to be subtle. They are not trying to be covert. They're not trying to be like, well, I hope she notices, because if not, she's just going to miss seeing that manatee. And I hear that in my head, because there's sometimes when there's people that are walking on the boardwalk and the manatee is swimming through in the preserve area where the people are not swimming, but they can look down into the water and they can see. And I'll be like, hey, don't miss the manatee. And some people will stop and they'll be like, oh, manatee, manatee. And they run over and they're looking and they've got their cameras and they're all excited. And other people are like, and they don't hear me. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to go screaming, through the park. But if they hear me, yay! And if they don't hear me, that is okay. But then I, see other people who are like, oh my God, I missed it. I'm like, I tried to tell you. And this whole thing was this analogy and so on my heart, because I promise you, your spirit guides, your loved ones in spirit, those folks who are sending you signs and signals and guidance, they are not trying to be subtle with you. Now, they're also not going to hit you in the head with it, thankfully. We don't want you to run right into the manatee, but they're not trying to be subtle. In my work in mediumship, one of my teachers is very, very fond of saying, spirit doesn't waste a thought. And I love that because it is so true. Anything that spirit gives me, that puts into my mind, into my eyes, ears, heart, body, whatever, that I feel during a session, I know there's some relevance, whether it is for me to say that thing out loud to the person I'm sitting across from, or it's to help me get that game of charades in my mind to to play, and to be able to say the thing that they're looking for. I like to use the example of T-ball that happened more recently. I had a woman and they were showing me in my mind T-ball, little kids baseball or softball, where you have the T and you put the ball on top and the kids hit the ball. And she's like, no, I don't have kids, and we never played T-ball, I don't know what it is. And in my mind, I'm going, T-ball, what are you trying to get me to say? What are you trying to get me to say? I'm like, are you a tea, drink tea person? Turns out the woman was a tea aficionado, was really interested in tea, had a lot of tea stuff, and had just that week purchased what is called a tea ball. It's a little ball, metal ball, and you put loose leaf tea in it. And then you put that ball, has holes in it, and you put the ball into the hot water, and the tea steeps in the ball. She had literally just bought a tea ball. But I don't know how they would have gotten me to say little metal ball with holes in it, you put tea in it, but they gave me tea ball. And so it was just a great reminder that they are watching and that they had seen that she had made this purchase, and they were mentioning it. So spirit never wastes a thought. They're always trying to get us to say, do, hear, feel something. And to me, it's like a game of charades that I'm playing with them. But it's not just when I'm sitting with a client, it's all the time. They're always working on our behalf, always working on our behalf. I will say that again, they are always working on our behalf to help us move forward. And so when I had this gentleman who said, you're calling more attention to this manatee and you're just creating more excitement, I'm like, yeah, that is the point. That's the point. That's the job. This is their purpose, is to help create more excitement and create awareness for us of what's going on around us. Because how many times have we walked through our lives and we're looking at our phone or we're doing something and we don't even realize something that is happening around us? I know we live near Disney World, and sometimes we would be in the park and we'd be looking at the app about where we want to go next, and we didn't realize that there's this parade of now they do this thing with the princesses. They bring through a carriage, and they've got 6 princesses, and they're waving, and it's the horses, and it's really because they can't do the character meet and greets where you can hug people and stuff, and so they have the princesses drive through the town. And so we're walking, and I was looking at the app about where we were going, and I was like, oh, there is a parade of princesses coming on. So sometimes we get so up in our head that we miss what's going on around us. And we need someone, something, some folks who care about us, who love us, who have our best interest at heart, who are willing to stand up and be like, hello, try to get your attention, trying to point out something. And so, again, I want to encourage you to let them, because they are always working on our behalf, even in the bad days, even in the negative times, even when things are hard or confusing or frustrating, always working on our behalf. And literally, their job is to point stuff out so you don't miss it. All right. That's funny. They think that's funny. So, manatees also. Yes, I hear you. Okay, I'm also supposed to talk to you about manatees in another way. Manatees as a spirit animal. Manatees are about slowing down, Manatees are about not getting stressed out. Manatees are about enjoying the journey. And manatees remind us to, enjoy where you're at, and every once in a while to roll over, right? See things from a different perspective. Because manatees like to roll over. So they remind us to slow down. So our card for our energy card, our chakra energy card, is Close Encounters. And it has, of course, a butterfly and some wildlife on there. And this is about coming out of the cave, coming out of the cage, the gilded cage, but this is also Close Encounters. This is about letting people, spirits, others get close to us. This is about welcoming them in. And so the color of this is yellow. This is the sacral chakra. This is about how we identify ourselves and who we think we are and how we see ourselves. But this is so much about allowing them to get close, letting them come closer to us to remind us that they're there. They're trying to show us that they're there. They're trying to show us that they're with us. So, all right, we're going to move on to our goddess card. And I think we're going to get ready maybe after Labor Day to shift away and try working with some new decks. I really, really like these decks, but sometimes I get a little bored, want to try something new. So there will not be a session next week for Labor Day. One, it's the Labor Day holiday. Two, I'll be away, and three, it's also the Jewish holy day of Rosh Hashanah. So there will be lots of reasons that we will not be able to gather next Monday, but we will gather this Wednesday for Thursday for meditation, and then we will also be able to gather next Thursday for meditation as well. So this goddess, I love this. This is Spider Woman. This is all about, that's so funny. This is all about co-creation. Co-creation. Is this not what we were just talking about letting them in, letting them help you, letting them guide you, letting them point it out to you? And here we are now. We're going to talk about co-creation. So I do have my glasses. And this is Feel the Rich Red Earth. The Navajo goddess Spider Woman rises up to help you weave your dreams into the fabric of reality. She's here to remind you that your vision of the form of your desire is not as important as its essence. The form is not as important as the essence. Knowing why you want to create something, what motivates you, what inspires you, and what beauty you're dreaming of bringing to life is key at this time. The collective dream is being manifested by the co-creative relationship between your imagination and the universe. So call to the best within you and weave your world into being with intentionality and humility. Okay? Co-create, which is literally, we were just talking about. Letting them help you. Letting them be part of your world, as my friend Jody will say. Letting them co-create with you. Letting them point stuff out, because that's what they're there to do. Point stuff out, right? Help guide you in the right direction. Love that. All right, we're going to grab a couple cards out of Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle card, which truly is like my favorite deck that I've worked with through all the years, the myriad of decks. This is still like the one that I really love. All right. Oh, Jumpy card. All right, let's see what you have to say, Jumpy card. It says, deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. Okay, retreat, rest, and be held. Honestly, it is the truth when and I love that we're coming into Labor Day, and we've just come past the full moon, and so the energy is coming down, so we can come into that place of rest and rejuvenation. But I love the fact that we are reminded to rest, because when we do, we are calmer, we are more grounded. When we do, we are more able to hear and to see when they're pointing stuff out to us. When we're like, go, 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 it's harder to hear them. So when we can stop for a minute, we can more easily hear them pointing stuff out. Okay, pointing stuff out to us. So this is the ever unfolding rose. It says cracked open, it's happening for you, not to you. Now I gotta say this was upside down, which means it's in the alignment or protection position. This is just to remind you that things are happening for you. This is when it happens this way, it's telling you this is what's happening, this is where you're going, this is what what to pay attention to. But when it's upside down, it's trying to get you to align. It's trying to show you that you're missing out on letting this happen. And I love this because if you're not letting things happen, so when obstacles come, people say, oh, why is this happening to me? It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. It's happening for you because they're trying to show you something, It's a theme today. And so here you have originally that deep replenishment is what you need to rest and relax and rejuvenate yourself so that you can better able to hear, because stuff is happening for you, but you're missing it because you're not listening, because you're all like stressed out. And so again, the manatees remind us to slow down, and we are reminded that the close encounters are coming for us. They are trying to get closer to us. They're trying to show you. They're trying to connect with you. They're being like, hey, this is my job. I'm trying to do my job over here. And we're not paying attention. And then we are additionally reminded that the goddess that is with us this week is a Spider Woman who is all about co-creation. Co-creation. This is where she's at. So everyone is trying to tell you, take a breath. Stop for a second. Listen, feel, hear, see, know, because they are trying to get your attention. That's my job. I keep hearing that in my head. That's my job, is to show you. That's my job, is to point out that manatee. That's my job, to show you what's going on around you so you don't miss it. So you don't miss it. And so they're telling you the goddess that's with us right now is the Spider Woman, who is here for co-create. That is her whole mission, is to help you co-create. And that your guides are telling you, they're trying to get closer to you. They're trying to show you, we're here. We're trying to point these things out to you. And yet we are upside down. We may be missing it. We may be missing it because we're not letting them get close. We're not hearing, we're not seeing, we're not feeling, we're not knowing. We're not absorbing these signals from them. That's their job, is to get us to notice it so we don't miss it. And we may be missing those signals from them. So it would be really important for us to take a few minutes, take some time, take a bath, stand in the grass, touch a tree, something, so that you can be more deeply connected, so you're not missing it. You don't want to miss that manatee swimming by. You want to be able to see that sign, that signal, that guidance, so that you can use that to help you move forward on your path. That is what they are there for. And then the last card is Star Mother, and it says, how will you mother yourself? So here they are talking about deep replenishment. You need to do something to take care of yourself and recharge your batteries. And then here is not an admonishment, but another call to that same action. How will you do that? Decide. Don't the universe. Decide, how will you do that? I'll tell you, before we got a hot tub, I was a big bath person, like every night bath person. I love taking a bath. I love sitting in the water. I've got the oils and the whole thing. And then we got a hot tub, which I love my hot tub. And my husband and I, we would sit in the hot tub almost every single night. And it was great because our swimming pool is a salt system. So our hot tub is also a salt system as opposed to a standard chlorine system, which means that it's very cleaning and clearing, and it's very as if you would put salt in your bathtub. It is very cleaning and clearing that way. It's very energetically healing. And so I kind of moved away from the bathtub because we had the hot tub, and this way my husband and I, we could sit in the hot tub, we face each other, we talk about the day. It's wonderful. But now he's got this new job and he's traveling a lot. And I don't always like to go in the hot tub by myself because then, it's not as much fun because he's not there. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to take a bath. I haven't had a bath in weeks. I'm going to take a bath. And so last night, literally, I did. I sat in the bathtub. It was glorious and wonderful and joyous. But this was the thing, was because I could feel that they're talking about you need to replenish yourself. How are you going to do that? And I literally heard it in my head, go take a bath. And I went, oh, okay, Star Mother, I'm being accountable. I'm going to take a bath. And so don't the universe. They don't like that. Don't the universe. They're talking to you. They're trying to get your attention. They're trying to show you That is their job, is to point stuff out so you don't miss it. Whether it's something in your heart, a sign that they're trying to show you around outside of yourself, or whether they're trying to get you to see something, or they're trying to get you to shift something inside of you. That's their job. Their job is to help you notice and to see things so you don't miss that manatee swimming by. That's their job. Okay, and I just love that whole idea of we're here to point things out. We're here to guide you. Our job is to let them. Our job is to let them. And it's so how often that we get caught up in all these things and we don't. We put our blinders on, right? And we're like, no, but I have to finish this deadline. No, I have to do this thing. No, I have to do the thing. And they're over there trying to get your attention that if we will let them turn our gaze, they will help us make it be in a better way. Make it be in a better way, because they can do so much more than we can ever ask or think if we will let them. So, that is my story for today. I want to say thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Thank you for joining us. I want to say thank you for joining us on all the weeks, because it is so it fills my heart. It absolutely just fills my heart every week to see you all here and to hello my friend Robin, and it just fills my heart with love and joy and so many wonderful things and feels. And I know that you have so many things to do in your day, and I just want to applaud you for taking some time for you so that you can get reconnected with your guides and your folks and know that they are working on your behalf every single day, and that our job is to let them. They are doing their job by pointing stuff out and trying to get your attention on things. Our job is to let them. And so I want to say thank you so much for joining, and thank you for spending some time. And a reminder that we will not be here next Monday for Labor Day, but we will be here this Thursday evening for meditation. I hope you'll come back and join us for that. And thank you so much for spending some time today. And please always, always remember how very much you are loved. Mwah. Have a good week.